Oh boy. I have had the next 2 days marked on my calendar for a while now, and today's the day. Today is the day that I'm starting my first 24-hour readathon. I won't even tell a lie. I am scared. I've watched so many of these videos, debated on how I wanted to do this because there's a couple different methods. Obviously, there's the 24-hour straight method, no break, no sleeping. I shall not be doing it that route. I do not want to interrupt my sleep patterns for a 24-hour readathon, so I'm going to do the 12-hour method where I do 12 hours today, 12 hours tomorrow. Maybe in the future we could explore the timer method where I just time exactly 24 hours, see how much I can read. But for today, I plan on reading from 12 to 12. I don't have a totally set TBR. I do kind of want to mood read my way through it. However, I am going to keep in mind part of my September TBR that I haven't yet completed. I still have the 3 physicals for my September TBR to get to. So I have the Blonde Identity by Allie Carter, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and then the final book on my TBR is Divine Rivals. Now I can tell you with certainty I'm definitely not starting with Divine Rivals. Last night I hustled through and I finished book 2 in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, and that was very difficult to get through. So I know for sure I don't want anything long or anything fantasy. To prioritize a physical while it's still light outside, I think I'm going to start with the Blonde Identity. I'm not even exactly sure what genre this is going to totally fall into because I just see it listed as fiction. I think there's a bit of mystery. I think there's a bit of romance. I know that this title is a play off the movie The Bourne Identity because our female main character wakes up with amnesia, has no idea who she is, and like people are trying to kill her. So let's go ahead and get started. I wanted to start at 12, but it is now 12:02, so I need to skedaddle and start reading. Sorry y'all for this very questionable lighting, but we have just made it past our first hour of the readathon. So far so good. This book is very easy to read. Our female main character still has no idea who she is. At first, we thought through our male main character's perspective that she was Alex, a spy that he's worked with for years within the CIA. However, we're kind of piecing together that she's not Alex and most likely Alex's twin. The twin reference is on the back of the book, so hopefully not spoiling anything for you. Alex did something bad. She stole a flash drive, and now basically every spy agency ever is coming after her. And since our mystery woman looks exactly like her, they're now after her. He's kind of taken her under his wing because he can see that she would just be a sitting duck if she doesn't have any help. They've been evading all of these bad guys within Paris. Part of their escape route included hopping onto this riverboat cruise, and now they are impersonating some newlyweds as part of their cover. So maybe some fake dating situation will come along with them impersonating this married couple. We'll see what happens. I think that is where the romance comes into play. But yeah, so far so good. I like it. It's really cute. It's really quick. I grew up loving Allie Carter's writing. She has a YA series called The Gallagher Girls, and it's about these girls who go to a spy academy. And what I've heard from the reviews of this is that this is like basically the adult version of Gallagher Girls. That was like my favorite series growing up. I still have all of those books. I've read them so many times. So for me, this is more like just nostalgia. I will be so honest. I probably have a biased view of this and will rate this higher than others just because I have so much history with this author. I don't even know if I mentioned where I'm at. I'm on chapter 18. Now that's only page 65, but chapter 18. We're only just over 2 hours into this challenge and I'm already cracking open an energy drink. If you haven't had the Witch's Brew flavor yet, you gotta have it. Will I regret drinking this as early as I am at midnight tonight? Yes, I will. But I can already feel myself slowing down. So I need a little bit of caffeine to keep me on pace. Now at chapter 26. So far, this book has only taken place over the course of like 36 hours, even though I'm probably just at like 35% done. I'm wondering if this book is only going to be like 3 days long, or if we're gonna get some longer stretches of time. Done. 5 hours into the readathon, we just finished our first book. Could I have read this faster? Yes. As you might have noticed, I look a little bit different than in my last updates. I have since been to the gym and showered. I did my best to continue reading this book while doing both because the audiobook is on Spotify. However, I'm glad that I mostly didn't listen to this book on Spotify because the male voice actor is not my fave. But overall, this book was so cute. I definitely have an emotional attachment to this author. And honestly, this book ends off on a little bit of a cliffhanger, so I'm wondering if book 2 is coming out. I don't think this is related to this story, but it does look like Ally Carter has a holiday mystery rom-com coming out actually in September called The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. I will definitely be reading that. But yeah, I'm so curious if another book is coming out in this series. I'm gonna go to Goodreads. I don't see it as part of a series, so maybe not. I hope so though. I would definitely continue to read books by Ally Carter. I'm gonna save my official rating for the end, but I guess it's time to now hop into our second book of the readathon. So if we go back to our tentative TBR to check in with where we're at, I'm not going to read The Naturals right after this because this is also a mystery. I just don't want two close of stories back to back. I do think I'm gonna save Divine Rivals for maybe tonight if I have some extra time this evening because I do have this as an audiobook. So I think I'm gonna save this. And I think that leaves us with People We Meet on Vacation. This is the last book on her backlist, and then I'll be all set to read her most recent story that came out a few months ago. But I wanted to get her backlist done before I went into that book. I honestly don't know too much about this plot, just that these two friends go on vacation with each other every year, and I'm guessing that they fall in love since this is a contemporary romance. This one is 361 pages, hoping we could get this done within, again, like 5 to 6 hours. So let's go ahead and hop on in. We've hit our first moment of struggle. It's also the moment that I've hit 50% of this book. So there's that. We're on chapter 18, page 183. I'm getting tired and I'm getting a splitting headache. It's just been building over the past hour and my head is just throbbing. I'm not gonna lie, I've been so overconfident up to this point. I've been like, oh my gosh, this 24-hour readathon is so easy. I love this. I need to do these all the time. And now I'm thinking maybe not so much. I still have 3.5 hours left for the night. I paused the timer a couple times when I knew I was just totally not going to be reading, because even though I'm not doing the timer method, I felt too guilty about like literally whenever I was just eating dinner with Hunter to have the timer going. So I've added time, so it's later than it was supposed to be. So I'm going to be ending this around like 1:25 in the morning. Oh. Yeah, I feel like the next few hours are going to be the witching hours. I don't know for sure if I'm going to finish this book tonight. I'll try to listen to this as long as my Spotify hours go, but I don't think I have too many hours left, and I don't have the brain power for physically reading. So I will probably be switching to Divine Rivals within the next few hours and just audiobooking it, because that's definitely the way to get through these later hours of the 24-hour readathon is an audiobook. I haven't even talked about this book yet, so maybe I should tell you about this. I feel like a lot of people have read People We Meet on Vacation, right? It's a classic. It's an Emily Henry classic. I do know that this doesn't tend to be everyone's favorite when it comes to Emily Henry reads. But yeah, I mean, there's not much going on in this book at all. It's just character driven. There is hardly any plot at all. We're following Poppy and Alex rekindling. They met in college. In college, they started going on these summer trips together. That's kind of what sparked Poppy's love of traveling. And then she started kind of a travel blog, and she works for a travel magazine writing articles. Her and Alex had a falling out 2 years ago whenever they visited Croatia, and we have yet to see what happened on that trip. We're kind of bouncing back and forth from the past, moving a year forward each time, but we start 12 years back. So like 12 years ago, 11 years ago, 10 years ago. And then in between those historical flashbacks, we get present day, where they are currently on a trip together because she has been feeling very uninspired in her job ever since her and Alex kind of lost contact 2 years ago. Things just don't feel the same. Her priorities are changing. So she invited him on a trip to kind of find that spark again, and he agrees, and they're rekindling their friendship. But their inability to fully address what happened 2 years ago is very much giving the lack of communication we see in Happy Place. Happy Place was a 5-star read for me. I was able to look past the lack of communication to see how well the relationship came together in that story, and I loved those characters so much. It definitely is getting kind of old in this one, and maybe that's my bad because I just read Happy Place last month, so it kind of feels like I'm reading a very similar story. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to be presenting the wrong impression. I am very much enjoying this. I just don't think I like it more than Happy Place or even Beach Read at this point. I don't even know how long it's taken me to get halfway through. I think honestly too long. If I had read for 5 hours and I needed to read for 12, I had 7 hours to go. It's taken me 3.5 hours to read half of this book. That seems kind of bad. That seems like a slow pace. I don't know, guys. I thought I would be reading at a quicker pace this readathon. I won't lie. My ability to keep going in the reading is making me happy. I just thought I would be reading faster than I am. I guess I should probably stop yapping because I have been yapping now for over 8 minutes. Just needed to update you guys that it's hitting me. I now understand why everyone makes readathons seem hard, because coming to terms with, I think that it is kind of hard. Yeah. That's where we're at. I'll try to do at least one more talking clip tonight, but we'll see. No promises. I don't know what's coming next. My creative juices aren't really flowing right now. So we will check in whenever we check in. less than an hour left. I can tell in people we meet on vacation, we're going to be entering into the third act conflict soon, and I really just didn't want to deal with that this evening. Third act conflicts get me real angry real quick, so I just decided to put that down while we were at a happy place at 72%, and I will finish that tomorrow. So now I have picked up Divine Rivals, and I'm about 15% of the way through. So far, I'm not overwhelmed with the story or the writing. I feel like everyone talks about this writing in such a positive way, of that it's so beautiful or so lyrical or so poetic, and they love the letters that are sent back and forth between the characters, but so far I'm not really impressed. It just feels like very basic writing to me. We're following two rivaling writers at the Gazette newspaper who are fighting for the same columnist position. The backdrop of this story is there's a war going on between two gods. Our female main character, her brother, has gone to fight in the war, and he's been gone for 5 months. She really needs this columnist position because her mom is an alcoholic. She literally needs it to pay the bills and have food to eat, and her name is Iris. The male main character, Rowan, is in a very different position. His family is a very affluent family, but his passion lies within writing. We've been introduced to a magical typewriter that Iris uses at first to send letters to who she thinks is going to be her brother. However, she receives a letter back that this is not her brother, and it turns out to be Rowan. He knows who she is, but she does not know who he is. I hope this is all making sense. Keep in mind, 11 hours into the readathon. I probably could be more clear. It is also 12:31. So we are not at peak form right now, but we're gonna keep reading. I think I'll be able to make it to about 30% into Divine Rivals. This could be a delirious 12:30 a.m. thought, but I do kind of like this readathon vibe, just being able to get so many books knocked out within a short period of time. I think 12 hours each day is a bit much, but if I ever had like a long weekend, I think I will definitely do this again, and maybe like 8 hours each day is a bit of a more realistic and less painful experience. But yeah, I'm not hating this. I am very tired right now. I'm hoping that I start earlier tomorrow than I did today, so that tomorrow night I'm still able to enjoy some time with Hunter and go to sleep at a normal time. But I'm finding that I tend to ramble as the night gets on, so I'm gonna stop myself here. We'll see where I get to in Divine Rivals, and then we'll do it all again tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow. The lighting is kind of crazy this morning, so you're just gonna need to bear with me. It is the start of day 2. Our official start time is going to be 10:20 this morning. And I'm not going to do any more in-betweens of kind of hopping back and forth between just letting the timer run for 12 hours and the timer method. I'm just going to go until 10:20 tonight because I cannot go as late as I did last night. I honestly don't feel like I've ever slept that hard in my life. I'm shocked that I'm here awake this early, honestly. I'm fairly certain I'm already in Spotify jail, so we are just going to power hour through the last 100 pages. Ideally, I'd like to get this done in like an hour and a half, but I'll give myself max 2 hours to get through it. And then from there, we'll hop back into Divine Rivals. But I will see you guys whenever I finish this book. Finished book 2 in just over 1.5 hours. really did enjoy this, but I'm not sure where it ranks within my Emily Henry books. I think Happy Place is still definite tops. I'm trying to think about this compared to Beach Read, which one I liked more. Now I feel even more excited to read Funny Story, so then I will have read all of her books. Now I feel like I can kind of get to take a little mind break and continue listening to Divine Rivals. I made it a good bit last night. I made it to chapter 16, which is 32%. So I'm going to continue on. Probably going to do a couple things around the house. Laundry. I really need to wash my makeup brushes. Have some lunch. Maybe even the gym if I'm feeling up to it. I don't fully know about the gym just quite yet, but that would be an amazing goal. And I don't have any other audiobooks that I can utilize throughout the rest of this. So if I want to go to the gym, it needs to be now. So let's hop on in to finish book 3. In that last clip, I finished Divine Rivals. I feel extremely conflicted with my rating on this book, so I am glad I'm sitting on it. From my last check-in, I did like the writing more, and I feel like the letters got more impactful, and it definitely took on more of a lyrical and poetic tone. But I'm not sure how much I really loved the story and the politics of it. And I know that book 2 in this duology, Ruthless Vows, really focuses on the politics rather than the romance. So I'm really not sure how much I would like that one. Like, some parts of the romance I absolutely loved, but then I found that it came together and the love confessions came very quickly. I didn't feel like we had enough to actually justify those feelings, so that makes me take a step back. And then, like mentioned, you know, the whole background with the war and her brother, I just kind of didn't feel like I cared. And then the plot twist that happens at the end, I don't know. I don't know if I love this as much as everyone seems to love it. I do think the writing is good. I just don't know if I fully connected with the story. And that could be because I'm reading it during this 24-hour readathon. Maybe I'm just ingesting too many books, but yeah, I think I've definitely read books that I liked more. Even in this readathon, I think I've read books that I like more. So that's where I'm at. I'm not sure how well you can see this, but we have just over 6 hours left. I'm still feeling semi-good, but we'll see how I feel whenever we're getting through this, because I don't have an audiobook to go through this, so this is going to be a physical read. Luckily, this book has a couple good things going for it. It's a mystery, so I'm hoping that maybe the suspense will help move the plot quicker to keep me engaged. It is YA, which always reads a little bit quicker. I do believe the chapters are pretty dang short, which also is motivating to keep reading. And then it's just over 300 pages, so it's not too long either. I think this will be a good one. I'm excited. I hope I like this one because I already have the whole box set. I would be very bummed out if I didn't end up liking this, but I've already bought all of them. So here is hoping I love it. What I've heard about this thus far is that this is basically Criminal Minds, but make it teenagers. This group of teenagers gets recruited by the FBI for their natural abilities. That's why they're called the Naturals. They kind of have these natural gifts. I think mainly we're in Cassie's head. I'm not sure if we get any more POVs, and we watch these teenagers solve cold cases. And I'm excited to hop in. I think this should be a fairly quick read. I don't think it should take me the full 6 hours. But let's hop on in and see how I feel about the Naturals. Over halfway done with the naturals. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about this one. It very much is giving Criminal Minds, with Cassie being a profiler and trying to get inside the mind of the killer. It's honestly making me feel a little icky inside. And if it was just her perspective learning about these serial killer cases, I'd be able to get through it. But there are these chapters in the perspective of a killer. Even though this is YA, I still feel like I can't really handle this type of mystery. I like detective work and solving a crime, but I don't think I want that to be serial killer murder mysteries. And maybe that's why I like the show White Collar so much, because hardly anyone ever dies. It's actually very rare that a character dies on that show, and it just feels less high stakes. This just isn't really my thing. I'm not one of those true crime girls or anything like that. I don't like that stuff. So, I mean, I'm going to continue reading it. Like, we're already here. I'm already over halfway through. I think I'll probably like Jennifer Lynn Barnes' other series more, The Inheritance Game. I have heard that feels a little bit more childish, but that one's more like solving riddles, solving puzzles, working together, no one dies. I'm like, yeah, that might be better for me than this, because this is kind of scary. We shall push onwards. Just under 3 hours left. I did not like this book. I'm gonna come back in a few minutes once I've decompressed. I did not like that at all. That made me feel so gross. Someone please tell me, like, do the other books have the serial killer's perspective as well? Because that part just sent me over the edge. I don't mind getting to know the characters, even if they have shady past. I like all the dynamics between them learning, the different things involved in the case from a factual standpoint, but the emotional connection that the case had with the story, I just really didn't like that. I didn't like that all the people getting murdered were young women. Like, no. We have just under an hour now. I'm still reeling from that, but we're just gonna keep chugging along. Luckily, my entire September TBR is now done, so we are just mood reading. And you know what I'm in the mood for? Therapy. But after that, I'm thinking just a spicy, fluffy rom-com that is going to require no brain power. So I'm going to read part 3 in the Queen's Cove series by Stephanie Archer. Book 3, In Your Dreams, Holden Rhodes. A spicy, small-town, grumpy sunshine romance. I gotta tell you, honestly, Grumpy Sunshine isn't my favorite, but spicy sounds cool right now. I just need a little mindless romance. Obviously, I'm not going to finish this within an hour, but we'll see how far we can get. The Queen's Cove series follows 4 different brothers. We're obviously now on to our 3rd brother, who's Holden. We'll see what happens. I don't have super high expectations, but anything's got to be better than what I just read, so. 24-hour readathon done. We made it to 18% of In Your Dreams, Holden, Rhodes. But I'll be so honest, I'm in such a weird place mentally after that last book that I think it's better if I just check in with you guys. Tomorrow, we'll go over our ratings and talk a little bit about what this book is about. Okay, y'all, it's the next day. I feel much more clear-headed. Let's go ahead and debrief on the books we read during this 24-hour readathon. I'm going to show my rating system that I typically use. In case anyone's new here, you know where I'm coming from on these ratings. I'll be so honest, I'm not going to sit here and act like some literature critic. I typically am not rating based on the writing unless the writing is overly bad or overly good. I'm more just going off of vibes and how the book made me feel and how much I enjoyed it. So keep that in mind whenever you hear these ratings. First book, to throw it way back, we read The Blonde Identity by Allie Carter. This book just made me happy. It was very easy to read. I was giggling to myself multiple times. Do I think this is something that's going to make a lasting impact on me? No. But did I have a really fun time while I read this? Yes. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 4 stars. Our next book that we finished was People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Again, I very much enjoyed this book. I had much more of an emotional connection with this book as opposed to the last, but it was not my favorite Emily Henry book. I don't think I'm overly obsessed with friends to lovers, especially when they've been friends for so long. I just feel like there's way too much miscommunication or lack of communication going on in those stories, so that makes me hesitant to rate it too highly. I don't know if this is something that I would want to reread, which is a big indicator for me with a 5 stars. So I went ahead and gave this a 4.5 stars. I think this is my second to lowest rating of an Emily Henry book. I gave Book Lovers 4 stars and then this 4.5. Beach Read and Happy Place are 5 stars for me. I'll put a picture of our next book here. We read Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross on my Kindle. I am shocked to say, because this was actually a 5-star prediction for me, I think I'm gonna give this book a 3.5 stars. I think the writing was very good. I'd be open to reading more by Rebecca Ross. I just don't feel like I necessarily connected super well with the story. I enjoyed the romance, but it felt a little bit rushed for me. I wasn't super engaged with politics. I do think the ending was interesting, even though some of it I could see coming. If you tend to like more politics heavy fantasies, I think you would like this book. Those aren't typically my faves. I tend to prefer a romantasy. Last book that we actually finished was The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I hated this book. This is not the type of thing that I like to subject myself to. I'm going to give it a 2.5, just simply in the middle of a 5-star scale, because the writing was not bad. If this is your type of thing, I would say go for it. This is just not my type of book, and that is okay. I'm not knocking anyone who likes this. I just personally cannot handle this. Give me a simple and sweet romance any day over a serial killer. It's just not my thing. So to recover from The Naturals, I picked up a simple and sweet romance. I picked up In Your Dreams, Holden, Rhodes by Stephanie Archer. Gotta say, I hate that title. I feel like that title is just way too long and not catchy at all. This is definitely grumpy sunshine. Our male main character, Holden, is extremely grumpy. He runs a construction company, and then our female main character, Sadie, that's her name. She came back to Queen's Cove because her aunt just passed away. Her aunt owned an inn. Sadie wasn't really sure who the aunt was going to go to. Her aunt didn't have any children, and her aunt actually ended up leaving the inn 50-50 to Sadie and Holden. They kind of have a history from whenever they were kids. They don't really tend to like each other. He's always been very standoffish and abrasive towards her, so she has just like viewed him as an asshole. Now they're needing to work together because Sadie ideally would like to sell the inn because she's in debt. Holden doesn't really want to sell the inn. In an effort to make an agreement between them, she agrees to be like his dating coach and find him a wife while they're fixing up the inn. I don't know, the plot's a little weird. I'm only 18% of the way through. We'll see what happens. So far I kind of think this is going to be my least favorite Stephanie Archer book, but I'm happy to see where it goes. I was able to read 18% pretty quickly, so I think I'll be able to get through it relatively easily, and then we can move on to the next one. And that concludes our 24-hour readathon. It really wasn't that bad. The worst part was definitely the end of night 1. And I think that was honestly due to my fault, just starting so late and it going until 1:30 in the morning. That was just a massive mistake. But I actually found yesterday pretty easy to get through. Had a little afternoon slump, but then we were back on our way. I would definitely be down to do another one. So if you guys want to see another one, let me know. And let me know what method you think I should do. Should I continue doing the 12 hours, or should I do the strict timer method where it might take a couple more days, but I just strictly only time when I'm reading and then pause it anytime I take any type of break? Let me know. I will be so honest with you, I'm not going to do the 24 hours straight where I don't sleep at all. That is just absolutely not going to happen. But let me know out of those other methods what you would prefer. And that is where I will love you and leave you for today. Thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.